So this was going to be a vlog style video where I literally take you along for our holiday and show you where we've been, but instead I kind of just embraced holiday and got stuck into it and didn't do loads of talking to camera or video like that. So just filmed loads of stuff while I was here, and then we're just making this video at the end to piece it all together to tell you what I did and give our thoughts on the trip. We're going to the Amalfi Coast. You ready, babe? Yeah! So I was going to start this when we was on the way here, but we're in the airport now. We've been in the lounge, we've eaten, we've had a little cheers, we've had a glass of fizz, and we're just heading on the plane now. So you'll probably see us when we're in Italy. So we arrived in Naples, or Napoli, on the first night. Just had one night there, and then had the full day there the next day. So obviously there's some clips from that. We did the underground tour of Napoli, of the city. There's like loads of an underground city there. It's hidden, and loads of history there, stuff like that. What else did we do?
I think that was it for Napoli. It was very rainy. Like the weather's been a bit.
Yeah, weather's not been good. Just chucked it down.
The whole time we've been here. So we've had a few little tiny bursts of sun, but yeah, Napoli was kind of raining, so we headed down here.
First gluten-free experience in Naples, what we're saying. Getting in a mess. Looks bloody good. Yay, nay? This one's mine. This chocolate one's mine.
Might be mine in a minute.
No. You ain't having that off me. So we've arrived in Naples. First snack going in, just a big ass ham and cheese sandwich. So far we've got rained on, we've walked a lot, we've had some gluten-free food, and we're going to go do an underground tour. So we'll probably see you in the tour. Got a coffee, got some sandwich. So this was the beginning of looking at the underground ancient city of Naples and where it all started. So we began meeting at this meeting church. This was the point where we got together with the rest of the tour. Now you'll have to excuse my knowledge of history because I'm just going off of what I can remember from the tour and looking back at the videos and remembering what she said, but it was absolutely phenomenal. Now, so when she takes you underground, it isn't just like a visual marvel. You don't just look at it and go, wow. It's actually like a history lesson that covers the breadth of Italy and not just Naples. So the Greeks actually settled in this area in 680 BC, I believed, and they called it Neapolis. So that's new city, which later morphed into the Napoli name under the Roman rule. So when the Romans came here, that's when they called it Napoli. Now you'll see all these little parts here and all these little tunnels and caves and walls. These actual areas are all shops. So this is actually like a street underground. This was a city underground. So all these here are actually shops, and this would have been the main street. Now this part here, what we're looking at, I think just as we go into this part here, into this wall, this was actually a bakery. So it just says there, this bakery was the biggest workshop of the marketplace. So inside here was all a great big marketplace, and all those little caves that you can see in the walls were little hatches to pass the food through, little ovens and little kilns as well. Now the underground Naples is just basically a vast maze of narrow tunnels, shallow pools and vast rooms 35 metres under the street, and it dates back to the 5th century BC. So it was started by the Greeks, it was modified by the Romans and used by the Neapolitans, as actually used as a bomb shelter during World War II, so it came in handy then.
Into a hotel that's got a nice gym, and like it's like, as you can see, it's like white, it's like a nice vibe. This is really like my kind of style. And then really we explored Sorrento on the first day we were here, because it was the weather's been pretty crap. We've literally had like a day and a half of sun the whole time, so
because that's where we've been staying. Sorrento's been our base basically, so we stayed in Naples, Napoli, whichever way you want to say it. Stayed there for one night, and then we've based ourselves in Sorrento for the whole time and just done trips here and there. So
and then we went to and then on Thursday what day did we have a spa? Wednesday. So we don't have any film footage of that. Thursday. Yes, on Wednesday.
We had a spa day.
And it was amazing, but obviously we didn't take our phones. It was so nice. They had a saltwater jacuzzi and a steam room.
I fell asleep in the steam room.
Yeah.
Absolutely KO'd. It was so good.
Well, it's a private spa, so basically it's just for 2 people. So it was just us in there for like a couple of hours. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was
we
good.
loved it. So then we just enjoyed lots of food. Like, to be fair, the food here is really tasty. It's just, I think the challenge is when you're used to eating a certain way, which we are. I think it was like, oh, it's so different all the time. Like, and I don't know if anyone knows that I'm gluten-free on Josh's channel, because obviously it's Josh's channel, not my channel, but I'm gluten-free, so that's been actually really, not challenging, because you can eat, but you can only eat the same things, which I understand and respect. So that's been a fun time. So when I have found gluten-free food, which I'm probably sure you will see featured, trust me, I freaking enjoyed it, that's for sure. What are they? What are they?
So we've got waffles, but they've cut them into sticks so we can fit them in here. We've got chocolate sauce on. One's got Ferrero Rocher ice cream. One's got chocolate ice cream. Both with whipped cream, and they both had a macaroni, but I ate them. Yeah, and with regarding food, it's just been, obviously being a bodybuilder, I kind of have to, I don't have to, I like to eat a specific way and eat a lot of food. But this trip's made me realise what I really, really like whilst being away.
Same.
And it is eating and doing all the things that I normally do, but as well as embracing the culture and eating all their foods and doing whatever they do as well. So I want to do it as well as, not instead of. So say for example at home I eat plenty of protein and go to the gym. I still want to do that while away, but then I also want to eat the pizzas and the pastas because we're in Italy, and the pastries and try all that sort of stuff. So I want to do that as well as, which here has actually been proved very, very difficult. Protein intake is minimal. You can only eat so much Parma ham before it starts to repeat on you. I think for breakfast one day I must have had like a kilo of Parma ham. Didn't sit well. So that's pretty much it meat wise. There's not a lot of meat.
And then on Thursday, we went to Pompeii.
That was it, yeah.
So
Yes, we visited Pompeii.
So, and actually, here's some top tips for you. If you travel here, my strong advice is to have either book tours and like have them organised, or have your own private driver, because you can do everything on public transport. We're super independent. Like I like to do everything on my own fucking time, right? And the problem was with that was great until I then wanted to use like the trains and then arrive on time, and I wanted to then get somewhere and not have to wait for other people. And so I think actually one of the keys to being here is organise everything in advance, pre-book everything, and where possible, don't think, oh, I'll save 20 euros. Like we actually in the end have gone, nah, let's spend it, because it's actually been worth it. Like the experience was so much better, wasn't it, when we've done organised stuff. But Pompeii was freaking wild, as I'm sure you're going to see now.
It's fascinating. I'm a big history geek, so love all stuff like that. Well, if you haven't seen, go back through the videos and watch the Athens vlog, and you'll see all the stuff that we did there. Just love all the history. So yeah, Pompeii is almost a little bit eerie at some bits.
It is, yeah.
It's just a whole city, a whole town, just
covered in ash.
Yeah,
and then frozen in time.
And then uncovered again. So yeah, obviously you'll see all bits and pieces of that. But if you don't know the history of Pompeii, you're obviously going to learn about it now, or go read up about it. But yeah, mental. So this is when we visited Pompeii. Honestly, this place is absolutely phenomenal. I obviously knew it was a town and a city, but I just didn't realise how big it would actually be and how much would still be intact. So I was going to give you a real brief overview, just in case of you didn't know about Pompeii and how it occurred and the Mount Vesuvius eruption. So basically, Mount Vesuvius erupted. It's an active volcano, and its most famous eruption took place in the year 79 AD, and it basically buried the city of Pompeii, just covering it in a massive thick carpet of volcanic ash. So literally, it wasn't the lava that destroyed the city, it was the volcanic ash that spurted out of the volcano, poured over the whole city, and it was just buried in a massive mound. And it was almost this, 2,000 years later. That's how many people died. Sadly, 2,000 people died. The city was abandoned for almost as many years. And then in 1748, some explorers rediscovered the site and uncovered all of this. So this is an actual city that's just basically been preserved in time. This was the main market square. So this was the main market square, and there was basically lots and lots of shops around here. So there was like a wool shop, and there'd be a bakery, there'd be a fishmonger, and this was the main centre of town where everyone would come to meet and trade. Now, what I found most fascinating about Pompeii was just how well it is actually preserved and how much is still intact and how much of the original town is still there. Like, even in the road, you can see the tracks of where the horse and cart used to carry the goods, because Pompeii itself was a very busy place because it was an import and export place where ships would bring goods and take goods away to different areas in different countries, etc. So it was a very, very busy and very popular place, and there's also a lot of houses which you got to look into. You can see there's Mount Vesuvius in the distance. That is the volcano that destroyed the town. So this here, I believe we was told, was a garden in somebody's house, and you can just see, looking around, the vast space that they had, and there's some very, very archaic buildings. Now, this here is one of the bodies that was actually preserved, and there are many, many of these throughout Pompeii. So these bodies were preserved because what happened was, when the volcanic ash poured over the bodies, it then actually preserved the space of what was in there. So when excavations happened and archaeologists came along, they put plaster of Paris into the ash that was left and then scraped it away, and then that left the perfect body. So you can see that it was just literally a moment frozen in time. So that was very surreal to see. Honestly, there is just so much to learn and know and understand about Pompeii, not just the destruction of it by Vesuvius, but just how the town was used when it was in full flow and when it was occupied by around about 20,000 inhabitants. So very, very, very busy town. I really, really recommend that you go and see it because it's just absolutely phenomenal. So then we got on the train. This is what the train looked like. It was very rustic. I'm loving the graffiti vibes. But yeah, very rustic indeed. So that we got the train from Sorrento to Pompeii and then got the train back. And then the day after that, so yesterday.
Yep, we went to Amalfi and Positano.
Yes, those two places are absolutely stunning. The views are incredible. All the stuff that you see on Instagram, like all the buildings and the side shots with like the cliff faces and everything, is exactly like it is. But I think pictures, when you see this is not putting a down on it or anything. I've had an unbelievable time, but it's just ridiculously busy, which is going to be, it's a tourist place. It's so heaving, and there's not, you don't really do a lot.
Like, it blows my mind that people want to get married here. I'm like, you want to get married here?
Yeah, no.
Like, it's
don't get married here.
the disorganisation and the crazy. If you're going to get married in a high-end 5-star hotel with a look over the ocean, for sure. But people, when I've said to me like, oh yeah, we're thinking about getting married there, I'm like, I wouldn't. Like,
if you're going to do it in Sorrento, where we're here now, don't do it in Amalfi or Positano.
They are
way
tiny.
too busy.
And the only way to get there are these roads that run along the coast that are technically supposed to be two-way. But if you get two buses coming like this, everyone has to queue and wait. And like, we had to allow 2.5 hours to do a 30-kilometre journey on the way back with our tour guide because of that exact reason. Like, it is mental. And there's only one way in and one way out of all these towns. So it's a tiny little place, and it is absolutely like, it's like it's like frozen in time, isn't it? I think that's what I describe
Yeah.
Edinburgh as, like frozen in time.
In the grotto in front of us, there is one miniature of Positano. Let's see. Here, the road, the street, and the stairway. So if you see on the right side, this is one street, not one stairway.
we've learned for sure is we visited a lot of places just out of season, and the reason we wanted to go in May is we wanted perfect weather. That didn't quite work out so well for us. And but what I've realised is actually that sometimes you get to see so much more of a place when you're slightly out of season. You think that sometimes you're going to miss out, and actually I think it's the total opposite.
Yeah, so top tips to take away, if you're going to go somewhere like this, like do the Amalfi Coast, do it slightly out of season, probably a little bit less busy, but just understand you can't guarantee the weather.
I still don't believe that.
It's just, I've had an amazing time. Coffee machine's going, but once you've seen and done everything, you've seen and done everything. Like, I think places like this are more seeing and doing holidays, and once you've done the things like you've done Pompeii, you've looked around Sorrento, you've looked at Amalfi Coast, the Amalfi town and Positano, we did one day for both places, one
And
day.
easily did it all.
2 hours in one, 2 hours in the other, and then back, and that was plenty enough. So you could do this whole thing in like 4 days. So if you're going to come here, do it for 4 days, and then bugger off.
And I think had we had amazing weather, that's saying that, actually, I suppose.
Yeah,
had we had
we
amazing
would have had
weather,
chilled days.
we would have had some pool or some beach days, but that just wasn't an option because there hasn't been the weather. We had, you know, I'd say half a day of sun yesterday, which was great for visiting places. But yeah, I think it's one of those places where I'm really glad that I've been. It's been on my vision board for a long time. But I think sometimes what happens is you build up expectations in your mind about what it's going to be like and how it's going to go. And actually one of the biggest lessons I've learned in life generally is to release the need to have expectation and just...
So we are waiting to just get a cab back to the station so we can fly home today. Yeah, that's it. So we're flying home. We've had an amazing time. It has been wicked, hasn't it?
It's been away. I just think the key thing about a trip is that you get away from the things that you make you unhappy or that you're trying to have perspective on. And the thing is, like you say, we love so much of our life that we don't feel the need to get away. We just wanted to do some exploring. So I think everyone goes on holiday for different reasons, but we've had
I like being at home. I like my life. It's wicked.
We love our lives. So for us, this has just been an extension of that. But yeah, I'm still excited to go home and see our little pigs. We've got 3 pigs. Can you put a picture of the dogs in?
I'll put a picture of the dogs in now. We call them pigs.
Because we have 2 Frenchies and Jasper is a Jack Russell sausage, so technically he's also a pig.
Yeah, so here's the pigs. That's it.
That's it.
Cool, so we're flying home. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. if you want to see more of the Super Fox, then comment below. Maybe we should be some more videos. Anyway, peace out. Bye.